What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, you know it's going to be a good day when we have some GameCube news to talk about. Specifically, though, a game from that generation with Bandai Namco actually doing an entire remake for the Switch, and it coming out this year. We'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Suicide Squad as a new image started to make the rounds online that appears to be legitimate and shows that it's of course, leveraging games as a service. And we'll also be talking about Forspoken. It's out next week, but we had a bit of a weird update go live, as well as some of the system requirements that have people scratching their heads. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're going to start today with Fire Emblem Engage. It's out this Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. And reviews did go live yesterday, which we can see this posted up over on Metacritic, currently coming in at an 82. That's on 63 critic reviews. It's a good bit lower than Three Houses. I was thinking it'd be an 85 to an 86, so a bit lower than even I was expecting here. We look at the split though, 53 positive, 10 mixed, 0 negative, and it does range from perfect scores like at Dexero at 100 all the way down to like a 50 with Games Radar. And I started reading through some of these reviews to get an idea as to why some of these reviews were mixed, for example. And a lot of it has to do with it not necessarily being like Three Houses, where there was a lot of character building, relationships, and the whole classroom element. It seems like this Fire Emblem Engage is more focused on the combat and the battles going on, and it's a more action or battle focused strategy RPG, and that's actually what I would prefer. I wasn't a big a fan of the schoolroom stuff in Three Houses. It just got kind of tiresome towards the end, at least for me. So hearing about what Engage is, that's actually more of a positive and sounds like something I'll get a kick out of when I pick it up this Friday. Also, we've been hearing more and more rumors around Konami doing something with Metal Gear Solid, and evidence continues to mount as now the voice actor for Raiden in the Metal Gear series answered a fan on Twitter, which you can see posted up, saying, well, this is the question here, perhaps a Metal Gear Rising 2, along with the rest of the upcoming Metal Gear showcase, might just make it. And in response, the voice actor said, stay tuned for things to be announced in the coming weeks. And I've talked about, doing a Metal Gear Solid remake, the Metal Gear Solid remasters showing up. I didn't say anything about Metal Gear Rising. That would be kind of interesting to see that one happen. Metal Gear Rising 2. Now, Metal Gear Rising was a really cool title from Platinum Games, and I don't think enough people have played it. It is a really interesting and fun action title in the Metal Gear universe. Seeing a second one now with current platforms like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, that'd be something to see. So it also adds some variety to more of the tactical espionage setting for Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, basically all of them. So throwing that in the mix would be pretty fun as well. So here's hoping we do have some sort of Metal Gear showcase, even a big blowout similar to Silent Hill with Konami leading the way, maybe in the coming weeks. We'll see. When I talked previously about how the Stadia controller would see an update to enable Bluetooth, that update is now live, which you can see over on Twitter from Stadia, where they say Stadians, they call themselves Stadians? You can now update your Stadia controller's firmware to enable Bluetooth low energy connections. Find the update tool here, so you can just click through that link on the Stadia account, update your controller after it's synced up, and it will then be usable on, they said, Android and PC. I do want to point out, if you are someone who is still using Stadia up until it shuts down, I think that's this week, you won't be able to use this controller after this update with Stadia. It'll disable that wireless chip inside. So keep that in mind. If you want to continue to use it, don't do this update until Google Stadia is shut down completely, but at least the controller won't go to waste. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with a surprising GameCube game that appears to be making its way to the Switch through way of a remake with Bandai Namco, Nintendo, and Monolith Soft. Seriously, take a look at this. This is posted up over on Xputer, where they say exclusive Baten Kaitos. That's right, I'm saying Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean remake is in development. This is one of the most fan fiction headlines I've ever seen. But I do want to point out, Xputer, I believe, was the source that had the scoop on Overdose from Kojima, and that's turned out to be correct so far as we had footage and other things get out there, and even Kojima writing to Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming to pull down some of his information. So they, at least recently, have been correct on some of their sourcing and leaks and all of this. But sources have confirmed that Bandai Namco and Monolith Soft are developing the game as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It does appear that there are still several bits and pieces here that are kind of vague and unknown. For example, they do mention that Baten Kaitos Origins could actually be part of this with a collection, and that would make sense. Even though Origins came years after Baten Kaitos and the Lost Ocean, all this, it is still a prequel. So you could play Origins and then go right to Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean and kind of play it in that storyline order, I guess, there. But being worked on by Bandai Namco, Monolith Soft, and Nintendo involved, that is very weird that they would pick Baten Kaitos, although I guess it is in that position where not a lot of people played it, so it could almost be marketed as a brand new title. I'm thinking of, I guess, kind of Live Alive, and that's Square, I get it, but that's a title that was only released in Japan, and then they localized it now and put it all over the world on the Switch. Baten Kaitos is a game that just flew under the radar for a lot of people. It's a good JRPG on the GameCube, but it's like this card-based JRPG. It's very unique in its gameplay, but if they brought it up as a collection, I think it might do well. It's really, really hard to say because it's definitely a game that got overlooked completely back in that generation. The part that's weird to me is there were reports that Bandai Namco had passed over Xenosaga as like a Xenosaga collection because they didn't think that really the money was there to be made with it, but now we're hearing about Baten Kaitos. I think Nintendo has some sort of ownership of one of them, I think, publishing rights or something, and maybe because of that, Nintendo is willing to front some of the bill and publishing to get this all done. It just adds more variety to the library, and let's face it, JRPGs sell very well on the Switch, so yeah, go back to the GameCube generation, get a title that a lot of people missed out on, move it up to the Switch, better resolution, texture work, controls. If it's an entire remake, they can do all kinds of stuff to it. And if it's part of a collection with Origins, and that would be really compelling. At least I feel like it would, as someone who has these titles on the GameCube and has played them. I think it'd be kind of fun to see them on the Switch currently. The other part about this that was a little surprising is it's mentioned that this could be announced at E3, as it's supposed to be coming out this year. In fact, they're saying summer 2023, and they have seen graphical evidence, which is either a screenshot or marketing material, and based on the fact that there are still some unknowns to this, like how much Nintendo's involved and how much of a remake this really is, makes me think they've seen marketing material around this. So we'll have to keep an eye out for any more reports that come out around Baten Kaitos in 2023. I did not have that one on my bingo card. Next up, let's talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is Rocksteady's next title after Arkham Knight. So it's been a long time in development for this game, and in fact there have been talks that maybe at some point it shifted focus or just overall structure and had become a live service game, and now it looks like we have a screenshot that proves it and some more information to go along with it. Now, I can't necessarily show you the screenshot because this is leaked out, and WB can be a bit quick with the copyright takedowns. It's very easy to find online though, but I'll show you some of the trailer for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League here as we go over some of the information. The biggest thing though is in the screenshot, which I'll say it, I don't necessarily think this game is going to be on that level. As soon as I saw it, it reminded me of Avengers, and I say that because you have individual characters with levels and battle passes and experience and currencies, and it's very reminiscent of at least that style and structure where they're trying to merge Destiny-like setup with superheroes or anti-heroes or villains, whatever you want to look at them as. But according to VGC, they say the Battle Pass is planned for the game will be focused on cosmetic items such as skins. In addition to the various currencies shown at the top of the leaked image, are understood to be experience used to power up and customize the skill trees of each anti-hero, effectively making them unique to the player, but They say you don't start off debuffed and weak, you start off great and can get ridiculous, like Arkham Knight's Batman. And I can't necessarily say that because there's a battle pass present in this game that it's going to be bad. And I know that initial knee-jerk reaction is there's a battle pass, oh great, here we go again. It's been in development for a long time, so I believe the gameplay, the visuals, all this will be very polished. My main concern, though, when you do bring in the Battle Pass is how is it handled? In this instance, though, it's said to be just for cosmetic items, and that's something that people have just kind of gotten used to now, because clearly there's going to be a post-spend. So after you initially buy the game for the $60 or $70 or whatever, you're going to be spending more money if you want the currency faster. So will there be an artificial grind that'll be incorporated into the game? And a lot of questions still, and the leaked image just brings those questions to the forefront now, and hopefully they're able to answer those questions soon, because the thing we're starting to notice is we haven't seen a lot about this game, and we're months away from release. So the fact that we are getting this information from a screenshot that was just leaked to 4chan, well, tells you how much they actually wanted to reveal about the game structure when it comes to a battle pass and all the live service elements, as based on the history of the industry with forced battle passes and live service elements, doesn't necessarily turn out to be a good thing, and it certainly takes a lot of the wind out of the sails when it comes to marketing and hype getting closer to release. Next up, let's talk about Forspoken, which is out next week, and I'm going to give the game a shot, if nothing else, to talk about it on the podcast that weekend. But I played the demo. It just didn't click with me. I didn't like it that much, but I'm hoping that vertical slice isn't necessarily indicative of the entirety of the game. Like, maybe you start off with 1 or 2 powers and they sort of build it up and teach you the different elements to it before you get the next one, whereas in the demo, they just threw it all at you at once. But something odd happened. They updated the demo. Yeah, and let's take a look. This is over on Eurogamer, where they say various technical issues have been fixed, including locked-on enemies that move off screen and lose their locked-on status. The demo will also get button mapping functionality and has had some of its text sizes adjusted. That was a complaint. The text sizes were very small, which was... It's odd because games will tend to do this where I don't know if they just don't play it on a really large screen or something, but I've seen this more and more where just the text is tiny and there's no option to change it, and if you have bad eyesight, you basically can't play the game easily then. Anyway, they're fixing all of that there, but the demo getting an update was just strange, right? But then they released the PC system requirements, and this had everyone talking because, well, if you take a look, they have minimum, recommended, and ultra, all right? So the minimum you're looking at is a 1060, going up to recommended 3070, and then an ultra 4080. And you can see the RAM requirement 1624-32, and just to play at 720p 30 FPS is the 1060, and it's like, what? Okay, that's pretty ridiculous. Then you also see the hard drive space, 150 gigabytes or more. And after seeing how this game ran on the PlayStation 5, where the frame rate was kind of all over the place and the resolution would drop fairly low for the PlayStation 5, we're talking like 720p, 800p. It was shocking at times. Digital Foundry's entire video on this. Good luck to the PC users out there, because I feel like even if you meet the recommended requirements, it's still not going to be a great overall experience for the PC community. So the more we hear about Forspoken, we've played it, we're getting closer to release, the less confidence I have in this one. So we'll find out next week. As I said, I will pick it up and check it out. I've done this for many games, even though I think they're going to be bad. I did it with something like Saints Row. Hey, Forspoken, that should be a cakewalk. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about the NPD sales results for the month of December. This gives us an idea as to how games are selling in the US month to month, and they typically track by revenue, not necessarily by units sold. So for the console side, the PlayStation 5 did generate the most revenue in December when it comes to system sales. However, the Switch sold the most units, and the reason that happens is because the Switch obviously is cheaper than the PlayStation 5 when you line them up with the $500 top-of-the-line PlayStation 5 disc-based system and then the $350 Switch OLED. But when it comes to the games, We talked about Ubisoft the other day, right? Keep that in mind with Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming in below expectations. Let's take a look at the chart here. These are the top 20, and I'm putting the top 20 up there for a reason, which we'll get to here in a minute. But we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 1, which should shock no one. Call of Duty does very, very well in the US, especially around the holiday time. Then we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. By the way, that only accounts for physical sales. Nintendo does not share digital eShop sales. So it does make you wonder at least a little bit where Scarlet and Violet would have ranked. Could it have taken the top spot over Call of Duty if the digital sales were included? Hard to say. Then we have God of War Ragnarok below that, Madden NFL 23, FIFA 23, Sonic Frontiers, which I gotta give Sonic Frontiers some credit. That is really hanging in there in the top 10. Then we have Elden Ring, Need for Speed Unbound, which it made its way into the top 10 at least. EA just pushed that game out there at the beginning of December with little to no marketing for it. So I guess all things considered, not bad for Need for Speed. Then we have Mario Kart 8 because of course. Then we have Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7 Reunion. Not bad, I would say, for that release either. NBA 2K23, that is also missing, I believe, the digital sales for it. Then Just Dance 2023 and Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I wanted to put this one in there because it is up one spot from last month, but remember, Ubisoft said it came in below expectations, yet here it is, several months, or a couple of months after it initially released, remember, in October, and it's still ranking in the top 15, which once again has me, and I'm sure many other people, questioning Ubisoft. What exactly were your expectations for this game? Because it seems like it's doing pretty well, all things considered. The fact that it's still charting in the top 15 with the NPD, and you see some of those other games on that list that are extremely popular and on multiple different platforms, it's still doing that well. I think Ubisoft was a bit inflated for what they were expecting out of Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and tells me that it probably did pretty well overall with normal expectations in place. But Ubisoft believes that over time it will at least get to a good spot with their expectations in mind, and most likely that's with price drops that'll see it fall below $20 over the next couple of years. Then it will eventually crawl its way to some ridiculous 10 or 12 million unit number. Otherwise, though, Pokemon, Call of Duty leading the way as expected. The PlayStation 5 bringing in the most money, the Nintendo Switch selling the most units. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, Suicide Squad reportedly has a battle pass and live service elements. How do you feel about the game after this news broke? There's 3% said I'm still excited for this game. 22% said I need to see what the live service stuff affects in the game. And then 75% said I'm not interested in the game. Yeah, I do think either way, Suicide Squad is a weird IP for Rocksteady to tackle when they were known for some pretty good Batman games. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. I know Arkham Knight, people look at that as the weakest of the three because of how reliant you were on the Batmobile the entire way through, but still a high quality game. Then it's like, okay, now do Suicide Squad. It's going to take you 7 or 8 years to make this thing, and it's going to have a battle pass, live service stuff, which immediately will turn off a large section of gamers, and it's like, whew, what was that the best decision to have Rocksteady work on Suicide Squad? Well, they still have to show it to us in full, so I'm hoping it doesn't disappoint. I think the battle system, the characters, visuals, story, all that will deliver. My only question is, will the battle pass and live service elements get in the way? And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Nick saying, hey, been wondering if you or any of the Spawncast plan to check out Atomic Heart. The game looks pretty nice and intense and is releasing in February. I talked about this game in Newswave when we got that initial release date announcement, and I've been following it here and there. I know it's going into Game Pass next month, but we just had previews go live, more previews, I should say, 2 days ago, and people were playing a couple hours in the beginning. And initially I see Atomic Heart and I'm thinking BioShock right away. It's a narrative-driven first-person shooter game with kind of that stylistic element that does seem to match close to BioShock, but then I'm going through some of these previews and people are calling out things like Half-Life and yes, BioShock, but also it kind of has its own unique thing, and it looks fun, it looks interesting, and it is a game I will definitely be checking out next month. Again, it launches on Game Pass, so it does have that nice benefit of you can download it, try it out, and see what you think. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today, whether it's apparently Baten Kaitos getting a remake for the Switch in 2023. Did you see that one coming? And then also, what about Suicide Squad having what looks like a battle pass and other live service elements? Are you concerned about it, even though Rocksteady's the one developing? And then Forspoken, it's coming out next week. What's your confidence level for this game right now? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.